It's a rainy afternoon here in Charlotte. Rainy, and it's not just a drizzle, it's a little more than a drizzle. It's a little bit chilly. So we're hanging out this afternoon after church. We played some games, reverse charades, which is a funny twist on charades. And we're having a good time. And we were all tired sitting around the couch. And I decided that I was going to go running. I've committed to go running a mile a day, every day for at least 90 days, to lose some weight, to get better health, to take care of my body better. And as I was running outside and my glasses were getting rained on and I was wet and I was cold, I thought to myself, this is really unreasonable. This feels unreasonable. And I knew that even me 2 weeks ago thought it was unreasonable to go running. Hey, Jeremy, how are you doing? It's good to see you on here. And I thought to myself, as I was running my mile, what is it about being unreasonable? And I thought to myself, this phrase I've heard before, be unreasonable. You should be unreasonable. And I thought, well, being unreasonable is very subjective. What's unreasonable to one person may be very reasonable to another. And it really comes down to, it's not a badge of honor. I've heard other people talk about it like a badge of honor, like just being unreasonable, like just be unreasonable. And the idea about just going for what you want, just being bold and asking for what you want, and not taking no for an answer, and just being courageous, stepping out there. And it's not, to me, I see it not as much about being bold as much as it is about the willingness. It's not about being unreasonable. It's about the willingness to be unreasonable in most people's eyes, because it really is subjective. It's reasonable to me that I needed to go running this afternoon because I made a commitment to go running every day. And if I didn't go this afternoon, I wasn't going to go today. And I'm going to keep my commitment to go running today. And it looks unreasonable to most people, but to me, it was reasonable. In some area of your life, in some area of my life, I should be doing something that looks unreasonable to most people, except for those that have the same level of commitment as me. And I should find people to encourage me, to inspire me, to be accountable with, to light a fire under my butt when I'm not doing what I said I was going to do. I should find people who think or have the same level of commitment as me. That my level of unreasonableness to most people is their same level of unreasonableness to most people. So in some area of your life, you should be doing things that look unreasonable to most people, except for those that have the same level of commitment as you. And then I also see it where it is not my responsibility to judge others who see me as unreasonable. It's my obligation as a human being to honor their commitments and honor what being reasonable or being unreasonable looks like to them. It's not my job to say, well, they don't have the same level of commitment as I do. No, not at all. It is my obligation as a human being to support them and whatever commitment level they have, and push them, encourage them by my level of commitment, by my level of unreasonableness, encouraging them to be unreasonable in some area of their lives. And I think back, take piano, for example. There's several areas I could think of, but take piano, for example. That's a simple one. My mom, whoa, I just dropped my phone. I'm back. My mom sat down with me for the first 2 years, almost every day that I practiced piano. She sat down with me and made sure I had a good practice session every day for 2 years. And I kept on taking lessons, and I kept on taking lessons. I took lessons through college. I've never stopped playing piano, and that is unreasonable to most people. And yet here I am. I'm still playing piano today and loving it and enjoying it because it was unreasonable. When I think of my engineering career or my coaching career, I've been unreasonable. I've pushed myself very hard, and I've found people who are unreasonable at the same level that I am, and I'm reaping the benefits and rewards for it. And then I look in other areas of my life where I haven't been as unreasonable, and I've slacked off. And one of the reasons I'm going running every day is because I've slacked off in my level of commitment when it comes to health. And and I was not unreasonable when it came to taking care of my body. So here I am being unreasonable about going running on a rainy, cold afternoon in the end of May of all things. So how do you know? So we can take this too far. If I think about this, we can take this too far, the idea about being unreasonable. and going too far. And hey, Keith, good afternoon. I hope you're enjoying Colorado, and I hope your weather is a lot nicer in Colorado than it is here in Charlotte today. But what is unreasonable? Because I've seen some people who have gone really far off the deep end in being unreasonable, and they've left their families behind. They've left other commitments behind. I think it has to come back to why. Why am I doing this? Why is this my level of commitment? Why? It requires enrolling important people in your life to support you in what you're being unreasonable amount. When I think about people who have coached, who have gotten out of debt, they were unreasonable. They were unreasonable in the amount of money that they were willing to throw at debt every month. They were unreasonable in the amount of money that they scaled back in spending on groceries or spending on just fun stuff every month. They were unreasonable. They had to enroll other people in their lives. They had to enroll their spouse. They had to enroll their friends. They had to find maybe different friends to support them in getting out of debt. So enroll important people in your life to support you. For example, let's pick on me going running again this afternoon. I've enrolled my wife in my commitment to go running. Not that she's going running with me, but when I go, she's here with the kids, and they're old enough to take care of themselves, so it's not a huge burden on her. But at the same time, I've enrolled her in my commitment. So when I say, "Hey, I'm going running," she's on board. She supports me. Now, if I go take a job that requires me to be gone 200 days of the year, that's where it requires me to be really honest with important people in my life, critical people in my life, like my wife. And she says that is, and she would say, that is not being the family man that you've committed to be. And I would agree with that. That's why I don't take a job that requires me to travel that much. So it requires, so again, answering the question, how do I know what is reasonable or unreasonable in my life? Enroll the people in your life. Ask questions of the important people in your life. Ask people who know you well, who know who you want to be. I am a family man. That's part of my identity, is that I don't do things that leave my family in the dust. And running a mile a day doesn't do that. Taking a job that requires me to travel 200 days a year does leave my family in the dust. I'm not willing to be unreasonable like that because I'm violating another area of commitment in my life. And it comes back to knowing your why. If you don't know why you're doing it, or if you're doing it if you're trying to solve the wrong problem, if you're trying just to prove something to somebody, that's a horrible reason to be unreasonable. But if you're doing it because it's who you are, your level of commitment. When I tell people I'm writing a book, and I'm going to have a published book in my hand by August 22nd, and here we are today, it's May 28th, so I have, just 3 months to go. People look at me a little cockeyed, like, are you serious? Well, that's an unreasonable thing for most people to think, that I'm going to hold a published book in my hand that I wrote by August 22nd. But my why is, I am a voice and an echo, and part of my mission in life is to elevate others, elevate creatives to be a voice, not an echo. And my writing that book advances my mission. That's why I'm doing it, and that's why I'm doing something that looks unreasonable to most people. But to people who have written a book in 2 weeks or a month or 3 months, it doesn't seem unreasonable. It's a reasonable thing to do. So again, it's all subjective. It's who you come back to, it's who you compare yourself to. I'm going to even take that back. It's not about comparing. It's just who you surround yourself with. That you know what your commitment level is, that I know that I am pushing myself to write almost every day. My commitment is to write every single day, 30 minutes a day. That's my unreasonable level of commitment because I have a why and I know my why. So my question for you that I started with is, what area in your life would you benefit from being unreasonable? I'll see you tomorrow.